Dato?
I'm good. Thank you, Mio and Terence, for having me today.
Welcome, sir. How are you?
Yes,
I like the hairstyle.
Thank you very much.
we get jealous when we see people with pretty handsome hairstyle.
But we're also here to talk about something that's very pertinent, very Malaysian.
Yes,
it's home ownership.
Yes.
We're all still Asian, so the home ownership thing is prime on our list of concerns.
Correct.
I don't think we've moved into the rental society lifestyle just yet.
Yes.
So can you share with us your thoughts on this, Dato? Is there an oversupply of affordable homes or an undersupply of affordable homes?
Well, it's a very good question. So the answer from my side would be yes and no. Oversupply will be those affordable houses that are placed at so-called the wrong locations. Okay, the wrong location means
very honest.
It's far away. Okay, it's in a rural area. It's not necessarily suburbs. Accessibilities in terms of public transport and road access amenities wasn't as complete. That's why the take-up rate will be slightly slower. Because we have to remember one thing, for B40, most of the affordable houses are catering for B40. And B40, they need all these support systems, these sort of like factors for them to move into their houses. Amenities like schools, near vicinities of the school, accessibility of public transports and whatnot. This is very vital. Of course, in terms of undersupply, will be if we are looking at the city center or CBD, as what we normally coin it, which is the Central Business District. Of course, with the land price that are quite high over at the CBD, it's quite impossible for government sector nor private sector to actually build houses along that area. So of course that's what I'm saying. It will be an undersupply definitely in those areas. Just imagine having a KLCC affordable housing area in KLCC or Bangsa area.
Exactly.
So
coming back to what you have mentioned just now, when you talk about affordable homes,
yes,
is there a guideline or a specification that you can identify it as an affordable homes? Because what we have been told before,
yes,
the criteria keep on changing.
Correct.
So to your opinion, to your own understanding, what is an affordable home then?
For me, affordable homes should be houses priced below 300,000, and of course, right now we have many agency, mostly from state agency. They have their own affordable housing campaign. Penang have their own. Selangor have Rumah Selangorku. KL have Rumah Wib and whatnot. Of course, we have national driver like Prima and SPMB. All will have a different characterization on the prices that they want to market out under affordable housing. Yes.
So with this varying criteria, it already presents a problem because in different areas, different states, I would assume people earn different status of income.
Yes.
So perhaps in KL salaries are slightly higher. Perhaps in rural areas salaries are slightly lower. So we can't roll out one national scheme for affordable homes, can we?
It's kind of tricky. Why? Because I was from Terengganu. For Terengganu, easily you can buy a single-story landed for 180 to 200,000.
Wow. And try getting that in KL, 200,000 landed, right?
It's
quite impossible, isn't it?
Wherever it is in KL is impossible. And for B40, of course, the criteria is you gotta have a household income of about 3,800 per month. And in Terengganu, with 3,800 per month, I think you will be considered a medium income earner. So that is a differentiation. That we see a gap over that side.
Let's look at things after the new government has taken office. There were some measures to reduce cost to the developer.
Yes.
Stamp duty exemptions.
Which is the home ownership campaign.
There was also a reduction in SST on building materials. Or zero rated for reduction of that tax. Did that reflect in the selling price of properties?
Yes and no again, because you know why? Because the other thing for developer will be mostly on the compliance costs. Compliance costs like building the infra. Of course, we also have some quota allocations and authority approval and whatnot. And these days, coupled up with the, I wouldn't say difficulty in getting the finance, the challenges, we have challenges in getting the loan approval. So that
From the developer's perspective.
that in fact might hinder the progress of the industry as a whole.
Alright,
Yes.
but okay, I have a personal grab actually. We
Yes.
talk about affordable homes and the ability. Oh my
Ability.
goodness! Welcome to FreshBrew, guys. How many of you had already? I have no idea. So the ability to actually purchase a home, because, and this is actually a well-known secret that's out
Yes,
there.
right.
You got investors buying all of these properties
yes.
beforehand, and we're not even talking just 1 or 2 units. They actually buy a whole block, or
Yes.
even like more than just 1 unit. And people, the majority of Malaysians out there who really want to buy a home for themselves, they will have trouble competing with these guys. Your comments on that, Dato?
As you know, I mean, the investors, they are opportunists. Whenever they see good opportunity, they will go in. And, opportunists, investors, everybody will be an investor. It's like stock markets. When stock markets are good, even people that are selling the veggies also, they want to give you tips which stocks to buy. Same thing with properties. We had that bull run during the early 2000s. And of course, everything you touch on easily is either double out, or to get 30% appreciation is quite easy during that time. So yeah, back to your questions. Investors, they are opportunists, and of course, for the last few years, there are people that are doing some loan compression, which means one person, they might at one time apply for a couple of housing loans.
Right.
So they might be owning a few, maybe more than 5 or 10 properties at one go. So yeah, so that is a scenario. That is a scenario.
But is that fair though to the buyer? Like what Mio mentioned, these guys genuinely want to own a home.
Yes.
And I'm sure Mio's example also cascades throughout the affordable home market.
Yes.
Where investors do the same thing.
Yes.
They
But now
their money.
But now I mean, the banking system has identified these kind of practices.
Alright.
So now they are updating the CCRIS. CCRIS is like a Central Credit Rating Information System. Whenever someone applied for a loan, it will be highlighted in the CCRIS system. And whenever loan is approved, it will also be updated in the system. So that one will be like something like a firewall.
All right. Hopefully that measures are being taken to give more chances to the majority of the people in Malaysia to actually purchase all these houses, right?
Yes.
Last but not least, Dato, maybe you can just elaborate on us. Property Insight.
Yes.
What are you guys all about? I mean, you are the only English
Yes, we are
magazine?
the only monthly English magazines, and we have been around for 6 years. And so our magazine is a platform that we want to empower investors to make the right decision, and the first-time home buyers to do a proper checklist and research before they actually go into buying their first property. The other thing is because we get a lot of feedbacks. They don't know which are good developers, which are not good developers. Of course, through our magazine also, we organize this Property Insight Prestigious Developer Award, also known as PIPDA, whereby we have a very strict selections from prominent judges to choose credible developers that deliver good products to their purchasers. So this is something like a benchmark that our readers can look at whenever they want to decide or they want to buy a property.
I want to throw in one final question.
Yes.
So when you look out into the market today,
Yes.
what is the sentiment?
The sentiment beginning of the year wasn't that positive, but I think we are gaining some momentum to the markets, and we are seeing banking sector, they are loosening up in terms of the borrowing, because property market is like a car. Our field is the financing. As long as the financing is there, it's a get-go for us from point A to point B. So with that, I think property investment at the end of the day is all about confidence. When people have confidence in the country, in the economy, you will see that reflected in the property sales as well as the property ownership.
I would love to do a whole show around property with you. Though,
That would be a dream, isn't it?
we're out of time.
Yeah, unfortunately, never mind. We'll PM tepi, as what they say. Right now.
Tepi, yeah.
Okay. All right, that's it. Widato, thank you so much for coming down
Thank
on
you.
the show. Thank you so much for
having me.
explaining, elaborating a bit more
Yes.
about the whole housing scenario here
Right.
in Malaysia.
And we're gonna head off to Nabe